Hello everybody, Low Turtle Life here, bringing us a brand new video, and today we have the Spirit of Chess Chessman deck. This is going to be the Spirit of Chess build using that spirit. I've been going back and forth between the Spirit of Chess build and the Dedicated Water build. I feel like Dedicated Water probably has more going for it on a competitive level, but if you're looking for a more fun casual deck, the Spirit of Chess build has a lot going for it too. Chessman as a strategy, I feel like is maybe 2 or 3 good cards away from actually being a really viable deck. Two things. The deck needs a freaking command attack with cleave, and I feel like it needs more ways to be able to just get bodies on board. It being a creature focused deck, an ally focused deck, I should specify actually, getting my terminology from different card games mixed up. Being an ally focused deck, it's really hard to keep allies on board. More ways to protect them, more ways to put them on board would be really handy. But you know what? At least it feels like it's a better deck than the Evil Alice deck. Oh my god, that deck feels like it needs a lot of work, as much as I do really like it. Anyways, I don't want to dilly-dally too much, because these deck profiles can go on for a little while, and let's get on with it. First and foremost, we're going to be looking at the material deck here. And of course, what better way than starting off with our champions. So we got, of course, the Spirit of Chess level 0. This, on enter, you draw 7, and it makes it so that all chessmen non-advanced elements are enabled for you. That's really good. Then we got the Alice level 1, who gives your command attacks +1, and then you can banish her from your lineage in order to keep prevent the next 3 damage to all of your awake chessmen units, which is also really good and can come up. Then we have the Alice level 2, who on enter you glimpse 3, and you add you basically get to add a chessman card among them to your hand. You glimpse 3, put one on put whichever one's on top or bottom, however you want to go about it, and then you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a chessman card, it goes to your hand. Really cool. And the bigger thing, though, is that you can tap her at any time in order to get out a chessman token, the pawn piece token, which gives you yet another way of getting pawn pieces out. This deck really struggled before the level 3 and the new stuff of getting pawn piece tokens out, and the level 3 actually fixes a lot with that. The level 3, this deck goes into every game. It's absolutely necessary. You get to your level 3 or you will struggle. She doesn't do anything on enter, but during your recollection phase, at the beginning of it, you summon a pawn piece token. You just play it out, and then if you got 3 or more chessmen on your board, you get to draw a card in the memory, which is really good. That's a +2 a card advantage every freaking turn, provided you can keep bodies on board. Also, she has a cost reduction effect whenever you want to play her out, where she reduces her cost for every chessman you control, which is also really good. The chessman level 3 Alice is absolutely phenomenal, is an integral piece of this deck, and you need to get to her as soon as possible if you have any hope of being able to put pressure and win. She helps you dig for cards, she puts bodies on board, she keeps a constant general token generating presence going, and that is, I cannot stress enough, very important, because this deck really does need as many ways to generate tokens as possible, and she just gets even more out. So that's our champion lineage, obviously. Next up, for some of the gear in here, we have the good old Gustmark Gauge. While it's awake, all your chessmen, I almost said champions, all your chessmen get +1 health, and then you can tap it. While it's rested, you get to give +1 attack instead, which is really good. Helps go for game. Also, you can pay to rest it in order to glimpse 1. That's really handy. Of course, the big thing, though, is it gets it rested so that you can actually get that attack gain. Most of the time, you're going to leave it awake so you can keep your guys alive longer, but it does come up. And then we have Briar Spindle. Briar Spindle is an incredibly stupid card for this deck, and is something very, very needed. So you can banish it to wake up each chessman ally you control. You can only activate it during an opponent's turn, which is mildly annoying, but it combos with the Alice level 1 lineage release if you need to use it, because to try to go and kill your guys, you banish this, you wake up all your guys, and then you can do Alice level 1 lineage release to prevent the 3 damage to all your awake chessmen. But the bigger thing that you use this for is that as long as you control a Chessman King, you can tap it in order to reduce the next cost of the next Chessman card by 2. So this is really, really, really good. Of course, the only problem is that there's only 2 kings, and one of them is total garbage, and the other is really good. This is... of course, one of the big boons you get from playing the Spirit of Chess build, because you do get to use this while playing the good king instead of having to, because the good king Weiss, he's in water. The bad king, oh wait, no, Hunt is the good king in water. Briar in wind is absolutely terrible. And of course, if you want to be able to use this in wind, you have to play Briar, and Briar you really don't want to have on board. But anyways, or even in your deck, honestly. But hey, you know what? Being able to reduce costs for 2 for the next thing is always really good. And then we have 1 Lagomorph piece. This card will cost 1 less if you're Alice, which of course you are. You can pay 3, banish it, and then you put in a Chessman command attack from your grave into your memory. This is kind of like a archetypal, what was it called again? Backup charger. But however, obviously it gets you to your command attacks again, which is very, very important, because recycling your command attacks is just, you need to. Then we got 1 Drop Ban. This card, you banish it, reveal 3 Chessman cards from your hand or memory, and then you get a token. That's about it. It's just another way to get tokens out. It's not as important as it used to be, because you have so many more ways to make tokens, but it is still a very important piece to the puzzle of this deck, where you need to get to it in order to be able to make your tokens. Next up, we have 1 Grand Crusader's Ring for drawing. Of course, always good for draws. 1 backup charger for more draws. Nullifying Lantern. This deck does not care about what elements it has in graveyard, and of course that's just simply something to counter those decks like Genbu and other water decks. You can also, this is a flex spot, play whatever you want that like counters whatever you have to deal with. This could also be a Nullifying Mirror, stuff like that. I side Nullifying Mirror personally, because I find that graveyard decks are a little more common in my area than Luxem decks or other decks that care about the cards in the memory being a certain attribute. And then we got 1 Terrafring. So yeah, pretty standard material deck, I would say. Terrafring and Nullifying Lantern are the 2 big flex ones. Drop Ban theoretically could be cut these days, but it still is very relevant, and is another way to get body on board in order to be able to go into your level 3 easier. So personally, I would not. Now, moving into the main deck. Currently, I am rocking with 63 cards, which is way better than the, 80 in my original build. I don't remember. Still, I think it was like 70 something. I don't remember. Anyways, trying to cut it down to 60 as much as possible. But like, I personally don't find it to be inconsistent at all. This deck has a lot of draw power, and just feels really good. So anyways, let's get on with this here. So first and foremost, we have 4 of the Golden Pawn. Golden Pawn, of course, is the only main deck pawn, if my memory is correct. And she doesn't do anything on play, but she has Taunt so long as you have another Chessman unit, and on death you draw a card. She also has the typical pawn effect, where if she does 7 or more damage, you get to tribute her, and then go into a Queen Piece token. She does not have Commanded Will or anything, so it's much harder to do the 7 damage. She's literally just here to be a shielder, and to be tributing to be able to get more draws and everything. Next up, we have 4 of the Snow White Weiss Queen. You could cut her down to 3 or even put 1 in a side and play 3 in a main. It comes down to you. I know she's not good against every deck out there, but she is really annoying for decks that actually care about their champions leveling up. So on enter, as long as you're level 1 or more, rest target champion. It does not wake up during the next wake up phase. And on top of that, if a opponent would go into would level up their champion while it's rested, that champion goes back in a material deck, which is just mean. It's rude. I love it. Very good card all around. She's very weak in terms of like stat line, but you aren't playing her for her stats. So next up, we got the Best Bishop. We got Golden Bishop. Golden Bishop, whenever she does damage to a creature with, I think it's odd health, right? Yeah, odd life stat. She gets a charge counter on her, and at any point you can remove a charge counter in order to prevent the next 2 damage to 1 chessman unit. Really good card, not unique, so you can just slam out multiple, get multiple charge counters on. Well, you only get 1 on each, but you get multiple charge counters going, and then you can just keep stuff alive. She's one of the easiest ways to keep your guys alive, and I can't stress that enough. Next up, we have 3 Hunt Weiss King. Weiss King, I keep going back and forth between playing 3 and 2 of them. He reduces his cost for every by 2 for up to 2 chessmen pawns you control. So if you have 2 pawns out, he goes down to a 2 cost. If you have 3, he's still a 2 cost. Then you can only use each of his effects once while he's on the field, and you tap him and you choose. If you have a bishop, you get to draw a card. If you have a knight, you can put a buff counter on it. And if your opponent's attacking and you tap him while you have a rook out, you redirect the attack to the rook and the rook gets buff. So he's a really good card. He's easy to get out. You want to see him enough. He's a good just draw piece and all that stuff, but he's not so great to where you need to be playing 4 of them. I keep going back and forth between 3 and 2. 3 feels good right now. You can cut him down to 2 as well. But yeah, I digress. Moving on. We do have also 3 Lily, the Marine Castellan. This is another card where I keep going back and forth between like playing 3 and 2. She's really strong, but she costs so much to play, and she's a 4 cost for a 1/4 rook. Who has Commanded Will 2, which is pretty good. She can dish out the damage pretty easily. On attack, if Lily is attacking a unit with an even life stat, you bounce a card in your memory back to your hand, and she gets +1. Well, hang on, let me double check. This attack gets +1, and you may return a card from your memory to your hand. So, just really good card all around. She helps you keep your memory going, and all that stuff. Lets you play more cards in a single turn. That Commanded Will +2 is really handy for applying pressure. I just wish it didn't cost so much. 4 freaking reserve cost really sucks on her. Now, the next rook, though, he actually is a bit cheaper at 3. We have 3 Swords Castler. He's the Wind Rook and has Commanded Will of 1. And whenever he is played out on enter, he summons a token, a pawn piece token, provided your opponent has a creature, well, a unit, with an even life stat. So, really good card as well. He just gets you more bodies on board. He represents 2 bodies for the price of 1, provided that your opponent has a guy out with an even life stat. That does, of course, include the champion, so if they have like a 20 health champion or 22 or whatever, that does apply as well. And of course, he got Commanded Will 1. Like Lily, has a ton of health but low attack power, but it's pretty good. Next up, we are playing 2 Weiss Knight. This card is debatably good for like going in a side deck if you don't want to play it in the main, but I really like it because of what she does. So if you're attacking with her with a command attack, she has Unblockable, which is really good if your opponent has a Taunter out, like if you're going against Gembu, or if your opponent has anything else out, like the Slimes or anything. Commanded Will of 1 as well. So she comes in swinging pretty hard with all the buffs and everything that you just get going with this deck. It's ridiculous. And that's all the creatures that we are playing right there. Pretty good amount, I feel. I've never had much of an issue of seeing them whenever I need them. Moving on to our command attacks, we were playing 4 of March On. March On, I really did get my 4th foil. I have 3. I need a 4th. Matching set, all that stuff. Anyways, March On's a 1 reserve cost for 1 damage command attack with floating memory. That's the big thing, is it's just an easy way to get in some chip damage while you get floating memory going. So just pretty handy with that. Nothing else really special. Next up, we have 2 Windfall Check. Windfall Check is a card to keep going back and forth between playing 2 and 3 of it. On hit, it's by the way, 2 costs for 2 damage. On hit, your opponent banishes 3 cards from their graveyard. It'd be crazy if it was from memory. Oh my god. But yeah, they choose 3 guys, banish it from graveyard. Just really handy for graveyard interruption. It doesn't do a ton more than that, but it doesn't affect everything. So this is also another card where you could side it instead of maining it and maybe play the other one, en passant, or something like that. One of the draw attacks, but I find that the draw attacks are really unreliable, and most of the time you're hitting face instead of killing units. So yeah. Next up, this really should have been next before the Windfall Check, but whoops. 3 Classical Opening. This is the new attack in RDO alongside the Ultimate, which I am not playing in this build. The Ultimate, I really feel like you gotta build a deck that like cheeses it. One of the guys at Locals showed me a build that is that doesn't play hardly any actual like chessman units, but does play a lot of ways to reduce cost and then like guarantee the attack goes through with the ultimate, which is hilarious. But anyways, we are playing 3 Classical Opening. This does 2 damage for 2, and it has Ephemerate 3, so you can use it from grave as well, which is really handy. These effectively represent 6 attacks, which is really good. And then we have the big finisher here, which is 2 Sacrifice Play. This is another card that you can easily go to 3. I keep going back and forth between 2 and 3. And you have ways to get it back and everything. You just dig through your deck so fast, you get to it pretty easily. Sacrifice Play says as you use this attack as an additional cost to pay for it, you also have to sacrifice up to 2 other awake chessman units, and for every unit you sacrifice for it, you do +2 damage. So it being a 2 cost, it being a 2 attack power by itself, with the 2 others, that's 6 damage. If you use this with Queen, you're doing 12+. It's ridiculous. This card can easily swing for 18+ damage depending on all the buffs. And yeah, it's a crazy amount of damage with this card. 2 of it seems fine. I see enough of it. You can always grab back another one with Lagomore Piece if you just need to. But the attacks in general all do enough damage to where you don't super need to rely on Sacrifice Play to like win. Next up, we have 3 of the Field of Ranks and Files. 3, I feel like I'm seeing it enough where I'm not bricking. 4, you see it way too much. Field of Ranks and Files states the first guy who you play out each turn gets +2, and the first command attack you play out gets +2 as well. So this represents +4 damage for your first command attack and first guy you play out each turn. And it does mean, of course, most of the time your Queen Piece token is not getting the +2 from being the first one out, because she's never going to be the first one out, but she can be the first one to get the command attack each turn, which is 8 damage with her commanded will. That is stupid. Really good card, really helpful. People tend to just not attack it, which is really funny. Like, I don't think most people realize it's a siegeable domain. You can hit it. But anyways, moving on, we got 2 for the last of our like domains and fantasias. 2 of the Queen's Gambit. This card, for an additional cost to play, you have to sacrifice a guy, one of your chessmen, and if you do, you draw a card into memory, which is really good. So you draw a card in memory on enter, and then if you sacrificed a queen, you get 3 tokens. While it's out, you also have it to where all your chessmen's get +1 on enter, which is really good. So yeah, just a really good card. It gets you a draw, gets you potentially 3 tokens if you're tributing Snow White, and gives you +1 for all of your chessmen whenever they enter the turn, which is really good. That's all the Fantasias and Domains. Queen's Gambit is another card where I keep going back and forth between like 2 and 3 of. Moving on, we got 1, 2, 3, and 4 doubled pawns. This card is like the best token generator. Whenever you play it out, you get 2 tokens. If you activate it during your opponent's recollection phase, they get taunt as well, which is really good. It just helps you stay alive, keep your other guys alive. Absolutely love it. Next up, we have 4 summon pawns. This is the main card you want to open up with, hopefully. Whenever you activate it, you reveal 3 guys, 3 chessmen cards, and then you get a token as well. And it's got floating memory, so easy way to get into your level 1 or 2, and help you even get into 3. Next up, we have 3 Golden Gambit. I keep going back and forth between 3 and 4 of this as well. As an additional cost to use it, you got to sacrifice a chessman, and then you draw 2. While you are Alice, it's also fast, which is really good, because when your opponent tries to kill something, you chain this, you tribute your guy, you draw 2, and then your opponent's attack, well, that doesn't matter anymore. Moving on, we have our next floating memory card, and that is good old castling boon. Whenever you play it out, all your chessmen get +1 health. If you have a rook, they get +3 instead, and it's got floating memory. Next up, we have 3 fast cure. This is literally just here for floating, like nothing else really. Just here for floating and the occasional potential heal, which is always great. Next up after that, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Frozen Gambit. Frozen Gambit is a card I greatly underestimated initially. Oh my god, that glare. We're going to just switch that. I got to figure out what's going on. I had no glare earlier, and now, all of a sudden, glare. Hang on, wait a second. I wonder if it is because of how high they are. Yeah, there we go. That was it. Okay, so yeah, still working out the kinks on my lighting. I'm sorry about that. So, Frozen Gambit is a card that initially I was very... I did not look upon it very nicely. I did not play it in any of my builds before. But, however, that was also before we had a lot of token generating, and we had a guaranteed token every single turn. And now, I feel like, especially for this build where you are locked into only being able to use chessmen cards, this is more important than ever. It is basically Frostbind. As an additional cost to use it, you have to sacrifice a chessman unit. And when you do, you choose one or both. First, you choose so you can either negate a card. Negate target card activation unless its controller plays 2. So basically Frostbind. And or target unit's attacks get -3 until end of turn. So basically, you're always doing both, because even if like your opponent has nothing else, they're trying to like go in a dungeon guide or something, you play this, you negate the dungeon guide, and you're giving your opponent's champion -3. Or something else like that. Really good card, absolutely necessary as a 4 of in this deck now, to be able to stop your opponent and reduce the damage that your opponent is giving you, because trying to stay alive is very important. And next, we have 3 of another card that I looked down upon initially, but now see actually as well as like Frozen Gambit. It's really good. Now, I'm only playing 3. I want to try to fit in 4, but it feels not as good as Frozen Gambit, so I'm feeling 3 is pretty good here. And that is Veiled Gambit. Veiled Gambit, like the other Gambits, require you to sacrifice a chessman as well, alongside paying for it. But the big thing with this one is you choose your champion gets the next 4 damage to your champion is prevented, and the next 3 damage to one of your chessman units is also prevented. So, your opponent swings for like with cleave or something, you activate this, you sacrifice a guy, your champion has 4 damage prevented, and then like your most valuable chessman unit is also getting 3 damage prevented. Really good card, very, very powerful for what this does, and for keeping your units alive. Very, very helpful. And that is everything. I absolutely adore this deck. I will be screwing around with the water build as well. I do feel like water, the pure water is probably better, because you get access to all of the general purpose water stuff like Frostbind, like Water Barrier, all that stuff. just generally really good things that you don't have access to in the pure build, but it is something to explore more. I also really want to try the whole Golden Checkmate Turbo build that that again one of the guys at Locals showed me, because that seemed hilarious. Getting to actually resolve Golden Checkmate. It's just, it didn't seem possible to me, but I kind of get it. I see it. Like, even with this, I can see ways to be able to like get it out easier. But anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments below. Rate, comment, and subscribe to see more Grand Archive stuff. And I will see y'all later. Peace out. Goodbye.